Hello everyone. Today we will discuss recursive functions, the recursion in a function, how to do that. So suppose I want to do say 5 factorial, which is 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So how do I do it? I can do something like for I or for j in range, right? 1 comma maybe 6, right? And I can create product equal to 1 and then product star equal to product times j, right? So first of all it's 1, then 1 into 1, 1 into 1 into 2, so on and so forth. So say import math, right? And say if I look at math dot factorial of 5 120, let's look at the product, right? So it's fine. And now the thing is, we can do this in another way. So suppose if I write say definition recurse, okay, and n is my number, and suppose I say I want to do like I start with 5, then 4, 3, 2, 1. That's the way we are going compared to earlier where we went from 1, 2, 3, 4 towards 5. So when we reach 1 we stop. So when I say if n equal to 1, return 1. Okay, now I'm gonna write here return say n times recurse. I'm gonna call the same function again with n minus 1. So what I did, so let us think about it. So first of all, suppose if n is say 5, right? Suppose n is something like 5 or something like that. N is 5, okay, and then so the result will be 5 when it will return back 5 star, right, recurse 4, right, and minus 1 is 4, so which will result in recurse being called again. So we get 5 star with a call 4, so that becomes 4 times recurse 3 and so on forth. And when finally recurse 1 will happen and its value will be 1, so we get 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So this is called the recursion in function. It's a recursive function. We are calling a function within itself. I'm calling inside a function, I'm calling the same function. Okay, and so we need to be careful when I do that, because the reason this is stopping is because finally we are sure that it is going to reach 1. Otherwise it keep on recursing and it will be in a loop forever. Okay, so we need to be careful. So let's do for one more example. Suppose I want to find the sum of digits. Suppose I give you a number. For example, if I give you say 10, I want you to give me 1, means 1 plus 0. If it is for example 9, I want you to give me 1 plus 9, which is 10, and finally, so you keep on adding, then I get 1. If it is a 1, 9, 1, for example, I want you to give me 1, 9, so 11, which gives me 2. So if I have more numbers here, something like, and I get more numbers here and I get more numbers, I'll finally stop and like I add up, I get finally 1 number. This is a totally wrong calculation. I just put some numbers. So finally I'll end up with 1 digit. Okay, so that's what we want to do. So how we do it? So I'll write something like say recurse, right? Recurse maybe sum n, And so what we can do, so finally, so it's easy for us to use n as a string, right? So we can look at the length and say that when it reaches length 1, I can finish it, I can return that back itself, right? So I can say if length, so first of all make it as a n is an integer now, so let us create a string n. So now it's a string. So now I want to say if length of string is equal to 1, return int of string, which means that if I get 8, which is a string in the beginning, and length of 8 is 1, so I'm going to return integer of string 8, which is 8. So at that point we can cut the recursion, right? So now what we have to do, we have to return back, every time we call this we have to sum it, right? So let us do first of all like we can do a list comprehension, you can put a loop or whatever you want. Let's do a list comprehension. How do? We need to sum the digits of the string, right? So I can say it's a string now. We have to make an int of I for I in strn, right? So and now I can sum it. I can sum it this way, or we can just take this off and make it as a generator, which we discussed earlier. So I get the sum of all the thing, and now I can call, so now this is an integer, okay, it may be 190 or 10, whatever. We'll call back our recursion, right? Now it has to do again recurse sum, right, parenthesis, you call it back. So with the new sum we call back the recursive sum, so that it will go down and recurse it again. So and finally when it reaches a single digit, that point it will stop. So let us try and see if it works. So we can say recurse sum, right? Let's do 10, right? So 1, let's do 19. 9 plus 1 is 10, so we get 1 plus 0 is 1. So if I put 1 here, I get to 2, right? If I get 2 here, I need to get 4. We get 3 here, 7, and if I get 7 here, I get 14, so 5, right? Yeah, so it is working. So I believe it is fine with you. It is simply, so recursive sum, we just summed it here. This is the first sum, and we are calling this function again, and then we when it reaches here, we'll sum it again, the call back the function. So every time we are getting the sum of the sum of the digits, and with the sum of the digits we'll go back, and finally the last result is this is the result which will finally we get when only there is one digit in the sum. So that is the idea of recursion in function. It's just work around with it, do some examples, maybe try these examples first, and it's very easy idea, but it can, if you're finding it confusing or something, work with some examples and we perfectly find it's very useful. Thank you very much for watching.